What's going on, guys? Tyler here again from Revamp Credit, and today I got a nice little short video for you guys. Today I'm going to be talking about how you can increase your odds of getting instant approval on credit cards that you apply for, some of the things that you want to put, some of the things that you don't want to put on applications. So if you want to find out, stick around to the end of the video. All right, the first thing that I want to talk about is your income. When it comes to filling out credit card applications, you do not want to put an income that is either too high or too low. So when it comes to that, they're going to look at your debt to income ratio. And if your income is too low, then that's kind of a red flag for them. Let me put this in a little bit of perspective for you guys. Let's say you make 60,000 per year, right? But then you have things like rent, you got other bills, cell phone, gym membership, whatever it is, all your big bills, all your big bills, you minus that. You minus your car payment from the 60,000. You minus your mortgage. You minus credit card debt. You minus whatever it may be. And by the time it takes your income down. So that's why you want to make sure you're not putting it too low. And I feel like this is an obvious one, but don't put your income too high on a credit card application. All right. If you put too high, it might drop more red flags and they might actually call you and say, hey, can you prove that you actually make this much money? So if you're out here putting you make $1 million a year, $500,000 a year, $400,000 a year, they might actually call you and be like, hey, can you prove this? So that's kind of why you don't want to make it too high either. So the first tip is to never put your income too high or too low on a credit card application. And there is also a thing called household income, which I'm going to talk a little bit about. So what I recommend and what I do personally myself. So if you have a spouse, let's say, you could put your income, like combined income, your household income. So if you make 80 grand a year and then your spouse makes another 80 grand a year, then you basically put those two together and that's what you would put on your credit card application. You never want to lie about these things. You want to do something that's reasonable, something that you can prove if you have to. There's also a thing called projected income. People do this a lot on their business side. So if, like, for example, I have a business, which I do, and I was applying for a business credit card. Let's say last year I made 40,000. All right. But this year I'm projecting that my business does, 80,000 or 100,000. I would put that projected income on my application, because that's what they allow. That's what I recommend everyone to do. And you could also do that on the personal side. You could do projected income. You could say, okay, last year I made 80 grand. I got promoted this year. I'm a manager now. I'm going to make more. I'm projecting to make 100K this year. So that's what you would put your application as well. Guys, the second thing you never want to do on an application, if you want to have good odds, is you never want to put that you're either self-employed or you're retired. Let's talk about it and understand why. So the reason you never want to put retired is because, they might think you're on limited income. Same with a business owner, right? If you put self-employed on an application, in your head, it might be like, oh, I'm self-employed. I got my own business. I'm a hot shot, but to them, it just doesn't look good because, it's more high risk. It throws out red flags. And if you put retired, they're like, oh, you probably spend all your money at the retirement club, or you probably go golfing every day, or go fly a helicopter, or you're taking all these vacations and, stuff like that. So that's why I don't recommend putting retired or self-employed. But if you are self-employed, I would honestly, this is what I do. I just put the name, just like if you were an actual employee. Like, let's say you worked at Target and you would just put, oh, I work at Target. You would put right there in the field, Target, and then whatever else information they ask for. So if you do have your own business, instead of putting self-employed, I would just put literally in that box where it says who you work for, I would literally just put your company name. So just XYZ Business Incorporated, whatever it is, LLC, whatever it is. So like, just make it sound like you're actually employed. Just put in your business name there and it would look just so much better. And also, if you are watching this and you do have a business and you're trying to fill out applications for business loans or credit cards, you want to make sure that you're not in a high risk business, which I need to make a video on it. But basically, if you're in a quote unquote high risk business, lenders look at that and they might have some red flags, and they might be, honestly, this is what you don't want to do. Okay. So honestly, if you like, real estate is a big one. Real estate, most people will say it's high risk, blah, blah, blah. So, that's one of the harder ones to actually get lending for. I mean, you still can, it just kind of depends on the credit union or the bank, but my experience, I've had a harder time, and I know other people have had a harder time. But the way you figure this out is usually when you create your LLC, you put in your NAICS code, which the NAICS code is basically determining, or is basically classifying what type of business you are. And there's lots of high risk businesses. I know real estate is one of them. Guys, this one is super important. If you're ever applying for something and it's asking you what you need the funds for, you want to look as presentable as possible. You want the underwriters to just look at you and say, okay, this is not high risk. He's trying to grow his business and stuff like this. So if you don't want to put, oh, I need this so I can go buy 10 properties in Nashville, or 10 unit complex over here, and be a real estate investor and I need it for real estate purposes. You don't want to put that because it's high risk. I'm from Washington, Seattle, so I can say this. You don't want to put, oh, I'm trying to start a cannabis company. I want to have all these dispensaries on the strip. I want 10 of them. I need funding for this. Definitely don't want to put that. If you play GTA, you probably know that you don't put, like, you want to buy a strip club or something. Just be smart. Just look as presentable as possible, guys. You just want to have the easiest and smoothest process as possible. This is what I would do. I would say I need the funds so I could grow my business. I could help the surrounding area of which I'm located. I want to help the world. You know what I mean? I need it for marketing. Marketing is a good one. I hear a lot. I need the funds to market my business and help my business grow. This is why I need the funds. I need it for marketing. I need to do this, whatever it is. Just do something or put something that looks more presentable. Does that make sense? All right, so let's talk about automatic approvals. Everybody wants to fill out an application and get approved on the spot. They don't want a manual review. They don't want to wait a business day or 2 to 3 business days to see if they got approved or not. Because if they don't get approved, it's kind of a bummer because you didn't find out all the way or right away, and you had to wait a few days and just to get denied, and now you have an inquiry, blah blah blah, right? So this is a big thing, and this is a big factor that a lot of people overlook, and it's very important. Now I'm sure you've heard of LexisNexis, SageStream, Innovis. There's multiple of the other bureaus, secondary bureaus, that give and sell your information to Experian, to Equifax, to TransUnion. Okay, so this is what I tell everybody, especially if they're trying to rebuild their credit or clean up their credit. This is kind of falls into place that you want to make sure that all of your information is correct, it's up to date, it matches, everything's clean as possible. You want to make sure everything matches, because when you go apply for that credit card or that loan, they're going to look, and if you have different spelling of your name on one side and then it's spelled different over here, and then you have your current address on this one, but then at Innovis it has 10 of your old addresses, and then your birthday has your exact birthday, and then this one over here only has your birth year, so you want to make sure everything matches. So what I would do, and if you're like me, you probably have frozen all of those bureaus. I freeze all of them. My big 3 and my secondaries. I freeze Experian, TransUnion, Equifax, and then I also freeze my Innovis, SageStream, LexisNexis, blah blah blah. There's like 8 or 9 of them. It's okay, they can stay frozen, but there is a way where you can go into each and every one of those and make sure your information is correct, it's up to date, the spelling of your name is correct, your birthday is correct. You only have your current address. You don't want any previous addresses. You want to get those all off, everything updated and matching, guys. That will make the automatic approval chances and odds go way up and be in your favor. If you don't know, there's a thing called AI, and it's only getting bigger and bigger and bigger and more scarier. And everything's an algorithm, especially when you're applying for credit cards and trying to do loans and trying to get instant approvals. It looks at a bunch of different things, a bunch of different factors, and you want to set yourself up for success and make sure you have the easiest chance possible. You want to pull up your bureaus. You want to pull up your credit report. You want all 3 side by side, Equifax, TransUnion, Experian. You want to look at those and make sure your name, address, phone numbers, everything on there is current, up to date, and it matches with your LexisNexis, your SageStream, your CoreLogic, your Innovis. You want to make sure those all match, okay? That will increase your odds for automatic approval. That's what you want to do, guys. Another thing I want to talk about is do your research. Before you start applying for credit cards or random credit cards, first of all, don't apply for multiple all at the same time. Don't go applying for 10 different credit cards hoping to get one, right? You want to identify, you want to do your research, you want to make sure you know exactly what you want. I've seen tons of people who applied for a credit card and got denied because they didn't do the research, they didn't meet the minimum requirements, maybe they didn't have that much credit history, or their utilization was too high, so they get denied, right? Or on the other hand, you have people that got applied for a credit card, and Like, yay, got applied for a credit card, but they didn't do the research. Maybe they didn't get the limit they wanted. And maybe it didn't fit their needs. Maybe it didn't do what they wanted it to do, or it didn't fit their lifestyle. Maybe it was a travel card and they didn't travel that much, or maybe it was the opposite. Maybe they wanted more travel benefits, but this card doesn't have that. You know what I mean? You got to do your research, guys. Research, identify, pinpoint exactly what credit card you want, and then apply for it. Another thing I highly suggest before you apply for a credit card is if you have any derogatory marks, like if you have late payments, charge offs, anything like that, I highly recommend trying to get those off your credit report first before you apply for a credit card. All right, guys, so those are some of the ways, some of the tips that could help you possibly get automatically approved for credit cards in 2023. I hope this video helped. If it did, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment down below what you have done, what you have been doing, things you haven't been doing, and stuff like that. Join the free Discord, free Facebook group. I got TikTok videos. I'm going to be making free content here all the time. So like I said, like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Happy New Year. Have a good day.